For this reason, we're quite aware of the burden that was placed on this community a few months ago, and we're sort of almost damned if we do and damned if we don't.
Yeah.
As far as the community is concerned, people ask, why aren't you mobilizing the community?
Yeah.
Well, I tend to think that there are enough people who remember the circumstances of the last one that it doesn't take a great deal of effort to mobilize it. But by the same token, once we do that, you set into effect a set of dynamics, not that it would affect our ability to settle the strike, but it puts into motion a certain set of circumstances that we do not have control over, and though we just can't say they would end when the strike ended.
Yeah, well, no, that's exactly what I'm saying about the sanitation strike. Did, in fact, a set of dynamics come into operation with the formation of the CUM organization.
And subsequently Martin Luther King coming into it and so on.
That were beyond the control almost of anyone by that time. Is that?
Well, I'm not sure how to place the question of control of.
Yeah.
See, constantly we needed, during the sanitation strike, lots of movement among people.
Yes.
Lots of attention to the issues. So you had an issue there that affected everybody.
Yeah.
Here you don't have an issue that affects everybody in the hospital strike.
Well, the hospital strike is far more complex, I think.
It's far more complex.
As far as assessing who's the villain.
But well, I guess what you're saying and is that at any time, if the strike could have been settled, you would have settled it. And,
certainly.
And in fact, if it had been settled on April 2nd, Martin Luther King probably would have gone home.
Right. We would not have withheld a settlement for the sake of creating more pressure. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, no, I didn't really mean
well,
that.
Maybe sometime the pressure was created so it withheld the strike settlement. I mean, we're exploring this, that's all. We're sure not making accusations.
I was wondering how you
well, how do you not do it, put it in operation is the question. What do you not do? Now you are making a very decided choice not to do something because you have some understanding of what the possibilities are. You also, in order to be frank, I guess, feel too that there would be a reluctance on people to get involved because they too don't want this thing to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a fact. I think this situation could be more complex and more complicated to solve because of the time. We could probably mobilize a tremendous number of people and possibly even more because of the time. We could probably arouse the concerns of people and the emotions of people more because of the timing. And I'm referring, for instance, now to the upcoming Ray trial. We could shift this as to a battle of attitudes and philosophies. And we could touch many more people. But we've tried and tried desperately to be very responsive in this thing to what we know.
Well, I'm awfully glad you're saying it because if you do what you're doing by not doing it, nobody gives you credit.
Yeah.
Well,
were you Machiavellian in this, boy, they would sure jump on and accuse you.
The city apparently doesn't understand maybe our thinking. And when we say to them we want to sit down and resolve the problem, maybe they think we're just giving them a line. But we know, for instance, that as far as the patients in the city complex of hospital, they're getting better treatment now than they were getting before the work stoppage. That's a fact. Now, the other hospitals who are taking on the emergency loads, they are running at, full blast. Well, if they just take a look at the records, they would know that we have from 500 to 600 employees in each of those other hospitals. And if we just wanted to take a very cynical point of view, we would just affect the operations of those hospitals if we had the ability to say strike. It wouldn't make sense to do that. But I mean, if they view us as a very hard, cold, and calculating organization, we'd simply do it and not even worry about it.
And ask you, do you have the ability to say strike to those others?
No, you see, our Constitution doesn't allow the International to call a strike. And it's specifically written. It doesn't allow it to call off a strike. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't influence it.
Yep.
But it would seem to me that
who could call a strike? The local?
The local people. It seems to me if we're going to be,
But your influence is, you're using your influence to the local people not to call a strike. Would you go on record as saying that?
certainly,
You have said that, haven't
yes, a number of times.
Mhm.
you? Okay, let me jump way back again then. I'm sorry we're jumping like this, and we'll try to get to a couple more key questions because it's getting, I don't want to hold you up too long. Then, throughout this whole period of March, where it appeared to someone only reading the newspapers or watching television.
That's the month of March,
Yeah.
not the verb
month-
March.
The month of March. It appeared everything was stalemated. As far as negotiations went, nothing really seemed to be breaking open, negotiation-wise. There
Right
were-
now, as I recall,
Especially after the injunction of March 5th and 6th.
yeah, as I recall, there were meetings taking place, structured by this ministerial group.
Yeah,
They
there
met
were
at
all kinds of secret little
Well, they weren't so much secret because the press was there.